This one's for the guys. I think one of the things that women want is we want to spend time. We want someone who just will spend time with us. I know I spent most of my married life waiting, waiting for my husband to kind of fit me in. And I think, it comes from a place where I settled for knowing that I was number two because his whole life was music. And I'm an artist too, so I understood the artistry. I didn't realize that that meant I had to come in second place to everything and that I wasn't going to be a priority. And I think that when you look at people who have had really successful relationships, it's because the husbands understood, or boyfriends or whatever. Not every relationship you're married. They understand to put their partner first. And there's that saying, happy wife, happy life. And there's truth to that, and you don't have to be in a traditional type of relationship to understand that. I think in my case, it got to a point where I was always almost felt like I was begging for attention. And I don't think that anyone should ever have to be like that. So women want someone who just want to prioritize them. And I think sometimes men might hear this. If this is you, if you're listening to this and you're in your head, you're hearing this counter voice saying, making them number one or prioritizing them means I can't be independent, or I can't have friends, or that's unhealthy. That isn't what I'm talking about, because I think relationships can be like that too, where you have a woman or a man, not wanting to allow the other partner to have freedom or friendships because they want to be number one, and that isn't what being number one or prioritizing your relationship or your spouse or your girlfriend or a boyfriend, it isn't. That's jealousy, possession. In a really healthy relationship, you want to give each other the time, and you have other interests. And I think, what happened with me is my husband left me alone so much, and I'm such an independent person, and I'm a creative person, and I always am innovating projects and doing things, that the more that he left me alone, the more independent and powerful I got. Because I started doing things and planning things and building things because I had all this excess time that he was not there. He was always leaving me behind. And there's an element of that in a musical life and with a musician, because they're traveling, or they're gone, on typical date nights, Fridays and Saturdays, they're gone. And so when you're with a musician, it's a different kind of life, and you understand that, that you're going to be in the audience a lot. But after a while, when you're not getting the attention that you need, being in the audience is not enough. And I think you can choose to be a really good spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend. You can be all of that to each other and still have your career and still have something that you're super passionate about. And I don't think that you don't have to prioritize an instrument over a wife, or a passion over a person. They're two different things. And you can love both of those things or many things in life. So the first thing I would say as, a man listening to this is If you're in a relationship and you're getting a lot of complaints and nagging and stuff, I would ask yourself, what can you do to give more attention, to let her know that she's important to you? How can you show that you're prioritizing her and her love and what she gives to you? I know I felt like I gave so much and like so much love all the time, and it wasn't being reciprocated in the way that I was giving it. And it got to a point where I felt like I was just giving all of it and I was receiving almost nothing, to the point of almost feeling starved for affection. So focusing on prioritizing your relationship is important, and doing it in a healthy way, meaning that prioritization does not mean giving up everything that you love. A healthy priority is, you cherish and love and give affection, and you make sure that you're working on the needs of the other. It goes both ways, both partners. But just making her feel like she matters to you, that's really important. And giving time, not being told that you have to spend the time, finding things that you guys can do together, even on a schedule. Sometimes schedules are difficult and you have to work out when is it possible. Sometimes it's a little more work. Do the work. And then it isn't about just putting all these plans in place to spend time together like it's a job. That's the other thing, is I when I was expressing that it was important to me to spend time together, a woman knows the difference when you're putting something or putting her in your calendar versus you really wanting to spend time with her. In my relationship, when I expressed that I needed more time and I came up with ways that we could spend time together, I was coming up with all the ways, and then I was asking for the time to be put in the calendar. And when we were doing things, it was a check mark for him. He was just playing the role and checking off the box. And that, a woman knows the difference with that. So women and men, they both have needs. And if I could tell a man anything, it's just give her time and mean it. You know, when you have a love, they're also your best friend. And one of the things that, as my ex was breaking up with me and just devastated my life after 20 years, he said, he would come out and say, I love you. And I said to him, do you devastate your friends? Because when you really care about somebody, a love of your life is also your best friend. And you don't go around hurting them and devastating them. You care about them, you prioritize them, you make time for them, and you're joyful with them. You're giving them your time freely because you want to be there, not because you're checking off a box. Okay, her needs, check. It doesn't work that way. Women aren't stupid. Now, keep in mind, I'm talking mostly to the guys here, and it doesn't mean that the women don't have responsibilities too, because everything I've literally said here goes both ways. I just think it's really important to prioritize your spouse, to listen to them, and listen more, talk less, and be honest. That's the other thing. If things are not working out, don't drag somebody through years and years of playing a role and not really meaning it. It isn't fair to either person. In my case, he was playing a role he would never tell me, but definitely admitted to the last couple of years. He was just checking off those boxes, being the role of husband, and nobody wants that. It's the more courageous thing to stand up and say, you don't want something anymore and to be honest than it is to drag someone through being in a relationship and thinking it's real. And then one day, because they can no longer hold it, they just drop a bomb on you that destroys your life. That's not good for anybody. So, a lot to process here. And this really, I just felt like I wanted to maybe share some thoughts of my own, with men. But of course, there's women listening to this too, and it really applies to both, But I just thought as a woman, I would share a few things of what I wanted. I just wanted time, but more than time, I wanted the time to mean something to my love, and finding out later that it didn't, and that it was just a box that he was checking off was really heartbreaking to me. It was kind of shocking. So if you're going to be with someone, prioritize it and really make them happy. There's so much noise in the background because there's a St. Patrick's parade going on. I just wanted to sit and chat with you a little bit. Literally, anyone can get something out of this, and everything I said goes both ways. But I just hope that you guys are having a good relationship. Remember to hug your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend a little bit tighter. Prioritize them. Ask them what they want to do today and how you can spend more time with them to make them happy, and see what they come up with. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.